Today on the channel we're going to upgrade the pickups in this Aliexpress Telecaster. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to upgrade pickups in this Telecaster. This is actually an Aliexpress fake Fender Telecaster, and the pickups are very microphonic. It sounds good at low volumes, but they just don't cut it. And this humbucker here is a little bit muddy sounding, so I'm going to replace this and this bridge pickup. So I've got these tone specific Telecaster pickups, and I'm only going to use the bridge pickup because I need to put a different humbucker in here, and I've got a couple options I'm going to show you here in just a minute that I'm going to try out and test. This guitar was featured on a video recently on my channel. I bought this from Eddie Ojeda from Twisted Sister. He's a friend of mine, and he bought this off AliExpress. He didn't like the neck profile. It's very thick. It's a very thick neck, and I got this thing for like $200 from Ed, and I wanted to do an upgrade on it. So many of you wanted to see this upgrade and hear what it sounded like, and be happy to show it to you. At the end of this video, I'll link the original video where I demonstrate what this sounded like beforehand and talk about this guitar in more detail. So anyway, let's get going. We're going to upgrade this pickup or these pickups and test it out. Let's do it. Okay, first and foremost, I've got to find a pickup for the neck. That tone-specific pickup that I had was given to me, so I didn't really invest anything in that tone-specific pickup. So I'm trying to find a budget option. So a lot of these pickups came out of either parts guitars or kind of low-end stuff. So I'm looking for a specific one. There was a wide range pickup in here. That's a Korean made. That's a decent Korean made pickup right there. We may go with that one. Now this Gretsch pickup would be kind of cool. I've got some Gretsch pickups, but these have two screws on one side and one on the other. I don't know if I feel like messing with that. There's the neck pickup for that, the Gretsch. I kind of want to stick these in something else because I got a pair, but that's a neck pickup. All right, so contenders. We've got this Korean humbucker. We've got the Gretsch. We'll put that to the side. Those came out of a Kramer Pacer. Those things kind of suck. There's another Korean pickup. I don't know which one's a neck and which one's a bridge. Aha, there's the wide. This one came out of a Michael Kelly, I believe. That's what I want to go with. That's a neck pickup, wide range. That's our winner. That's what we're doing right there, fellas. Guys and gals. For the two women that watch my channel. I don't know what brand it is, but I remember it was cool. Okay, we've got the guitar on the bench. First thing you gotta do, take off the strings. This thing needed some new strings anyway, so we got these off. We're getting them off here, let's see. I'll probably speed all this up since some of this is going to be like ultra boring. Once I get the strings off of it, what I'll do, well, now that the strings are off of it, I'm going to take the pick guard screws off of it and get this pickup out of there, and I'll have to take this bridge piece off. Probably the most tedious part about doing a Telecaster is taking off the bridge piece, because you got to get in here so you can, you got to take this whole thing off so you can get the pickup out of the whatchamacallit, out of this mount. So sometimes getting behind these brass saddles sucks. I try not to move the intonation too much, since that's just more setup work later, but I'm gonna have to check intonation on this anyways, since it probably has never been done. So let me go off camera. I'm gonna take this thing off. Basically taking these 4 screws off. I have to move this brass saddle up a little bit to get to this screw right there. And I'm going to take off these screws for the pick guard. Then we'll unmount the pickups and get the soldering iron out. Got to take this plate off also, because we got to unsolder the pickups from the switch and then put the new pickups in. So anyway, I'll get all this stuff off. I'm going to take these plates off. Then I'll show you the progress at that point. Okay, about 5 minutes later, I got the mounting screws out of this bridge piece, and I loosened up took the screws out of the pickup. So I'm going to move this piece aside. I took the pickup screws off, and I also unmounted the humbucker. Okay, so I'm going to take the springs out of here. They get stuck because of the magnets. Now, one thing I have here is this little magnetic saucer. So I've got these are the mounting screws for the ashtray. These are the screws for the pickup. These are the screws for the control panel. These are my springs. These are the pick guard screws, and these are the humbucker screws. Now, hopefully everything will install just fine, but now we'll look at the wiring on this control plate real quick. Okay, so let me move the camera a little bit so we can take a better look at it. So this is your typical Chinese switch. This is not a true Fender switch, clearly, and these are tiny small pots. I'm not going to replace any of this today. So what we're looking at here is, here's the bridge pickup here. We've got the hot wire and the ground wire coming out of this red wire right there, and then it looks like this humbucker is going to be this red wire. So basically it's just 2 wires. We're gonna wire the white neck pickup there, and the white bridge pickup goes there, and then the grounds go to the top of the pot. So that's pretty simple, honestly. Really, really simple stuff. So when we take a look at this pickup, this is a 5-wire. So one of these is going to be hot, and then the black will be ground clearly, and probably more than likely, and there's a ground wire, a silver one. So what we'll wind up doing is soldering these 2 to the pot, and I'm thinking either here someone has already attached the red and the white wire together, so they figured it out for me. The green is going to be the hot, the black and the silver bare wire at ground. So we're going to wind up wiring this to the pot. We're going to wire that to the switch. And on this tone specific pickup, I used to have kind of a deal with tone specific. They'd send me pickups for demo purposes. These are really nice boutique hand-wired pickups. I kind of hate to split this pair up, but if I ever need to put the neck pickup in here, I know where this neck pickup is. But this is it. I mean, this is the ground, and that's the hot right there. So that's going to go there, and this is going to go to the top of the pot. So really, the most complicated part, honestly, is getting all this crap off the guitar and getting it mounted back in. So let me get my soldering gun heat it up, and we'll disconnect everything and proceed to put these into the ashtray and the pick guard and get the wires ran so we can get these soldered to the right points. Cool. Okay, so while this soldering iron here heated up, which I've got at, it's about 495, 500 degrees, as you can see. As this was heating up, it takes about, I don't know, 3-4 minutes. I spent like 5 minutes, and I got the wide range humbucker put in the pick guard, ready to go, and I got the tone specific bridge pickup mounted in the ashtray. So this is ready to go. So we'll put those to the side. And so this bridge pickup is this wire, and the ground is connected or soldered to this volume pot, and it is connected to these two lugs on this Chinese switch. Now, Fender switch looks different, but it's essentially the same thing, just a little bit different design. Now, the neck pickup, same thing. The ground wire is connected to the pot, and it's connected to these two lugs. So what I'm going to do, sometimes I just, for ease, really, I mean, this isn't like the most professional thing, but I mean, we're talking about an Aliexpress Telecaster. I mean, I'm not doing anything really wrong here, but I'm just going to cut these leads off. So that's our bridge, that's our neck, and let's touch this soldering gun to the grounds and see if they'll come off. Sometimes my soldering gun, which is 500 degrees, isn't hot enough to get some of this solder off of these pots from the factory. It should be, I'd like to get one that would get about 700 degrees. All right, so that one came off easily. All right, good deal. So then we're gonna just pull this out of the hole, and I'm not gonna be really careful with it because this pickup is junk. And then we're gonna pull this pickup from the hole. All right, let's take a look at this body. Look, that's how that thing is routed. That's an Aliexpress body, not bad. All right, so here's our ground wire. This ground wire goes from this ground wire touches the bridge when it sits on the guitar. So if you don't have this ground wire connected, like here, this is, you can't really see it, but it's on the inside of this cavity right here. So this ground wire, I'm about to pull it through this guitar, and I'd have to push it through there. Dang it. Trying to film and talk and do all this stuff at the same time is kind of tough. I need my needle nose pliers, I think. Anyway, there it is. All right, so this ground wire goes to the top of the pot. It's just basic science. So it grounds to the metal, and then the metal ashtray bridge sits on top of this little wire here, and it keeps the guitar from buzzing like crazy. So if you ever have a Les Paul that's not grounded properly through one of the posts like this, or a Telecaster, you got to check this ground wire, because sometimes it's not wired, sometimes they miss it in assembly, sometimes the ground wire may be disconnected from the pot, this may have broken off, who knows. But this is like such a vital basic piece, this one little ground wire and bare wire underneath the ashtray, just the most basic stuff. Kind of funny actually. But all right, so let's see here. What I'm going to do is put this pick guard back on. This is easier said than done sometimes, but there's a hole that's routed or drilled from each cavity where you run the wires. So hopefully there's enough lead wires on this thing. All right, the reach, awesome. It reaches perfect. Cool. All right, now the bridge pickup, do the same thing. There's a little hole that this ground wire is pushed through. So we're gonna do that and make sure you don't mess up this ground wire, okay? So I'm going to pull this through so I have enough wire here to solder to that post or to the pot. All right, and I'm going to rest this ashtray bridge on top of this ground wire. So what I'm going to do, while I did that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw this thing back on just so I don't pull that ground wire loose in the process. I probably wouldn't, but I mean, it's one of those things you just want to avoid. You can turn a 30-minute job into an hour-long job. Put the strings on it and find out your ground wire's messed up. Make you cuss like a sailor. I didn't have to adjust this brass saddle after all. When I took that screw out last, and I was able to move these out of the way. They do move a little bit, so if you're trying to get these screws out, you have a little bit of wiggle room. Not really putting these in any particular order. I put this one in first since that was the one that gave me the most difficulty getting out. So I thought since that was the last, I would put that one in first. Now as you can see, I'm pushing the E and the A string saddle off to the side. Nice thing working on a relic guitar is if your screwdriver slipped all of a sudden and you hit it, you know, it doesn't matter. No pressure. All right, you want to get these on tight. And as you tighten it, they're kind of like lug nuts. As you start to tighten them down, you'll notice the other ones get a little bit looser. Heck, while we're doing this, I'll go ahead and get these pick guard screws in. I mean, we might as well. All that's left is basically three soldering points, the ground wire for the bridge and then the ground for the pickups and the hots onto the switch, and then we're put the control plate back on and it should be ready to go, other than a fresh set of strings. Certainly not going to win an award for the most captivating YouTube channel. Doesn't matter. I don't think there's any YouTube awards. I guess now would be a good time for me to ask you, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of March. As of recording, this is February of 2025. I try not to put dates and stuff on my videos because it just kind of dates everything. Now I messed up. I grabbed a screw from my control plate and I put it right there. These pick guard screws, I didn't notice it when I put it in there. These pick guard screws have rounded tops and the control plate has flat tops. So I made a small mistake there. Pretty much same size screw, but there. Awesome. Cool. All right, so I've got some, this is the bad stuff. This is lead solder, but I like lead solder the best. Okay, so let me, offline real quick, let me get these wires ready to go. These need to be spliced a little bit so I can get these, so I can get bare wire. Be right back. Okay, so the red and the white are wired together because this pickup could be split if we wanted it to be, but we aren't set up for that. So I'm going to put some electrical tape. on that so they don't make a false connection or ground to something else and mess us up. So what I'm doing now is I'm preparing my ground wires for to be connected. So I'm just going to do the main ground. And I'm going to take this neck pickup. I'm looking at the neck pickup wires right now, right here. So this is the hot wire, and I've got the ground wires twisted to the ground that goes underneath this bridge plate. I always really suck when I'm soldering on camera. The pressure's on. So let's see. Let me get, should have grabbed my pliers. Let me get these grounded. To the top of the pot. All right, so you don't want to blow on the solder. Just let it cool off naturally. All right, and then if I remember correctly, the neck pickup was attached. They've got these two lugs are wired together with a piece of wire, and the same is true for these. So really you could touch this to either one of these. This is the wire from the old pickups. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get all the little frayed ends of that wire cleaned up a little bit before I do it. I'm going to drop some solder on here. I'm just going to leave that old wire on there. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, we're doing just kind of, this is sort of a, kind of a bush fix. All right, so let's get that on there. All right, good deal, good deal. And then this one will lay on there like that. Put a little drop, a little dollop on there. So we're good to go on that one. Now, one thing you'll encounter sometimes is when you go to solder the other ground wire on here, if you didn't do them all together, sometimes your solder will lift up from the previous job. If that happens, you just gotta kind of work around it a little bit. So here we go. Just gonna put a little drop on there. I like these pots. These pots are real sticky, and this solder is sticking to it really good. It's behaving well. That's always nice. All right, so here is the lead for the bridge pickup, and this is going to go across right here on these two. So I'm going to put a little fresh dollop solder on there. Okay, and lay this across there. Make a nice connection as I'm pushing down on the wire. I'm twisting on it so it'll rest. Dig into those lugs. Let that solder kind of cool off a little bit. I'm going to reinforce it a little bit more. All right, that looks good. All right, so as far as I can tell, everything should be working. So what we can do is gently, ow, that was hot. I touched with my pinky. I was going to say I got away without getting myself singed. Not so fast. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plug this guitar into a amp, and we're going to just bang on these pickups and make sure they work. Let's check it out. Okay, the moment of truth. I've got this wireless unit running to a little Vox Pathfinder amplifier off camera. So I've got the bridge selected. All right, sounds nice and strong. Now, if you watch my old video, which I'll link at the end of this, my first video, I'll link at the end of this video, you could hear, like, when you'd knock on the guitar, you'd hear it everywhere. All right, so the tone is working. You can tell that that's a lot crisper. All right, so cool. All right, so the neck pickup and the tone works on that. All right, good. So we're good, and I don't hear any unnecessary hums, so that means that ground wire didn't budge or do anything weird. Cool. I'm going to put some strings on this guitar. I'm not going to bore everybody with restringing this thing, and we'll test it out and we'll hear what it sounds like. Awesome. Okay, so here's a weird update. I put the strings on the guitar and I was testing everything out, and this pickup wasn't working. So I thought, well, something came disconnected, right? Something was not right with the wiring. When I figured something came loose, so I came in here and I checked my wiring, and everything was fine. And I tested this tone-specific pickup, which I've only had in one other Telecaster. I tested it with my meter, and this pickup is dead. So I don't know what's happened. I've tested every possible way that I can. So I have this Seymour Duncan hot rails, and I've got this, as you can hear my amp in the other room. I've got this plugged into a wireless here to an amp in the other room, and this one's working. And this pickup tests fine. I put it on the meter and it's okay. This pickup was testing fine when it was installed. I put strings on it and it's dead. So this pickup is no more. Never seen anything like that in my life. So anyways, I have to take these strings off and put this pickup in here, and then we'll test it out. This kind of sucks. Okay, so I got the Seymour Duncan hot rails installed and it sounds great. I've got this wide range humbucker put in and everything tests good. We're going to run it today through my, we're going to run it through one of these Joyo amps. I've got the Meteor plugged into my Ignator 1x12 cabinets. I've got a line 6 delay going through it. I'm going to do a little bit of clean, and then we're going to do some dirty tones. This guitar really screams with this pickup in it. I really was wanting to go with a traditional Telecaster bridge pickup and have kind of a twangier sound, but I didn't have any good Telecaster pickups in my inventory after that tone-specific pickup decided to die for some strange reason. That is so weird. Anyways, this one tested fine and it sounds great. So I've got me a Telecaster shred machine, and I guess since this was Eddie Ojeda's, that's only appropriate. So let's check it out, okay? Cool.